Peace, and welcome to another episode of the Quranic Remedies, where we spend about 15 minutes exploring a page from the Quran together and seeing how we can apply the verses to our lives. Hopefully, with God's permission, it helps us heal our brain, body, mind, and soul. So today we'll be reading from chapter 4, The Women, from verses 38 to 44. A'udhu billahi minash shaitan rajim. I seek refuge to God from the accursed devil. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of God, the gracious, the merciful. والذين ينفقون أموالهم رئاء الناس ولا يؤمنون بالله ولا باليوم الآخر ومن يكن الشيطان له قرينا فساء قرينا. And those who spend their money to be seen by people and believe neither in God nor in the last day, whoever has Satan as a companion, what an evil companion. وماذا عليهم لو آمنوا بالله واليوم الآخر وأنفقوا مما رزقهم الله وكان الله بهم عليما. What would they have lost had they believed in God in the last day and gave out of what God has provided for them? God knows them very well. إن الله لا يظلم مثقال ذرة وإن تك حسنة يضاعفها ويؤتي من لدنه أجرا عظيما. God does not commit an atom's weight of injustice, and if there is a good deed, he doubles it and gives from his presence a sublime compensation. فكيف إذا جئنا من كل أمة بشهيد وجئنا بك على هؤلاء شهيدا. Then how will it be when we bring a witness from every community and we bring you as a witness against these. يومئذ يود الذين كفروا وعصوا الرسول لو تسوى بهم الأرض ولا يكتمون الله حديثا. On that day, those who disbelieved and disobeyed the messenger will wish that the earth were leveled over them. They will conceal nothing from God. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تقربوا الصلاة وأنتم سكارى حتى تعلموا ما تقولون ولا جنبا إلا عابري السبيل حتى تغتسلوا وإن كنتم مرضى أو على سفر أو جاء أحد منكم من غائض أو لمستم النساء فلم تجدوا ماء فتيمموا صعيدا طيبا فامسحوا بوجوهكم وأيديكم إن الله كان عفوا غفورا. O you who believe, do not approach the prayer while you are drunk so that you know what you say, nor after sexual orgasm unless you are traveling until you have bathed. If you are sick or traveling, or one of you comes from the toilet, or you have had intercourse with women and cannot find water, find clean sand and wipe your faces and your hands with it. God is pardoning and forgiving. ألم تر إلى الذين أوتوا نصيبا من الكتاب يشترون الضلالة ويريدون أن تضلوا سبيلا. Have you not considered those who are given a share of the book? They buy error and wish you would lose the way. صدق الله العظيم. God the Great said the truth. The verse starts by continuing with what God was telling us last time in regards to those who are stingy and they push people to stinginess. And then God is also going that the people who will have a painful punishment are those who spend their money just trying to show off, to show that they're pious, or to show people that they are people who are influential because they are capable of spending this excess money, yet they don't believe in God in the last day. Their deeds are rendered useless. It's not going to be accepted from them, and whatever good they produce on earth is what God is allowing to happen. But they themselves are people who are abhorred by God only due to the fact that they do not understand the reason why they're giving money. They're giving money by the thinking that it's from the good of their heart, but yet the truth, the reality, subconsciously, they're doing it for other people to notice. Now, there is another set of people who have a Satan or a devil attached to them, and they are their antagonists. And whoever takes this companion, but the word qarin here, which truly means antagonist from what I understand, is someone who's always trying to oppose you in a way to get you into more pain or into main punishment. Or another way of understanding a qarin is someone who is defending you, and he's always going against your enemies in a way to pull them down, to defend you. But rather, the devil doesn't do that. The devil, what he does is he antagonizes you. He comes up with these ideas that he perceives that these ideas you already have, so he twists them in a way to even pull you into these desires. So for example, if you have one of these Satans that's attached to you and you see a girl that's pretty and you think to yourself, oh, this girl's really pretty, and then he might give you an idea in regards to like, well, she's very sexual as well. Maybe we should try to approach her and see if we get a chance. And then if you are starting to listen to the devil, at that point, you are following the footsteps of the devil. Now, the people who do not believe in God in the last day, they have these antagonists that keep pushing them into sin. Only because they both think that they're enjoying the moment, yet they are both going to suffer the punishment because of what they're doing. And God is asking us such a simple question. Like, you're giving the money anyways. What's the problem for you to believe in God in the last day? Because the thing is, you are having these materials that you think they are so worth it to you, and people are comparing you to others due to these materials that you have. And people are always talking about their riches, their women, their money, their cars, and whatever else they're buying as accessories to show on how much they are of a man or somebody who is a very influential girl, for example. And unfortunately, all of this is going to be taken away from you, whether in this world or whether while you're alive or when you die. It's all going to be stripped away from you. But the thing that's going to be everlasting is the deeds that you have done. A, with the material that you have been given, and B, with the time that you spent on earth. This is truly why you're here, is to show yourself and to others that you, A, are coachable, and B, that you are capable of producing good for the world and the people around you. We were talking about taking care of your neighbors and people who are orphans, people who are traveling, your people who are close to you, your relatives, your parents. These are individuals that would appreciate the help that you would give them as long as you believe in God in the last day. The reason why you're supposed to believe in the last day is not thinking that you're just going there for more material wishes in the last day, where these material wishes do not disappear, but rather you want to be able to understand that you as a human being, you were created to serve. A lot of us are either serving ourselves or serving somebody that is not worthy of being served. But yet when you start to serve God and you are loyal to God, you realize truly how beautiful this life is. And then you start to look forward to a world where there isn't these antagonists and these losers that try to keep pulling you away from serving your Lord. They try to hurt you for serving your Lord or believing in your Lord, or they try to pull you away from what is supposed to be done. And the last verse that we read today, God is telling us about people like that. People who have been given the book, right? But they keep buying into error, and they wish that you would go follow them in what they're doing. They say that a lot of partners, a lot of crimes, they enjoy that they have partners. It's very rare for you to find a criminal that's working solo. They tend to have these people that come together to make these enterprises, which is criminal enterprise for them to all to enjoy. We have the case that's ongoing in regards to these individuals that are doing sexual trafficking of young children, with the case of Epstein, and you can see how many people are on that list. They all pull each other into this crime, and it's very ironic that these individuals, in the case that what we're reading, is that they believe in the book, yet they are wanting to buy error. You having the Quran does not mean that you are saved from not following error, because truthfully, the difference between somebody who is guided and who isn't guided is a person that is considering the hereafter and a person who just wants into this world. So when you're buying into error, you're buying into things that are not truly worth it, and then become who you are, and it becomes a preoccupation, and that's what you start to dedicate your life to. Again, I said us as human beings, we're created to serve. So what are you serving? Are you serving your vices, or are you serving your Lord? And if you are serving your Lord, who is your Lord? Is it the creator of this seven skies and the land that you see in front of you, or is it you yourself? Or is your Lord the government because they dictate what to do? Or is your Lord your parents because you can never say no to them? And we go as far now in understanding that God is not the one who's setting you up for you to become a loser. God is setting you up for success. But when you do stupid things and you start to have the wrong ideology, God is going to allow you to have it because he gave you the ability to make freedom of choice, the freedom that you gave you the freedom to decide. And you are the one who's making these decisions, and at the end, it goes against you because of who you are as an individual. Yet it's not God's fault because he's not doing or he's not committing any weight of injustice, right? And the thing that is amazing to understand, that any good that you do, even if it's a weight of an atom, right? God multiplies it. So God is looking for the good that we do, and he makes it flourish however the way that he wants to flourish. يضاعفها here, the gentleman Talal Itani decided to translate it as doubling it, which is understandable, but yuda'if can also be understood as multiply. So it's not just doubling it, but God can multiply it more than just double. And he can keep doubling this goodness that you produce if it's worthy of that. But here what we have as a bare minimum is God will take any good deeds and he will multiply it. And this is very beneficial for you. So if you are a person who committed sins for 10 years, you can expiate those sins as soon as you become a believer, or if you go back and repent, if you have been a believer, in a very short time by producing such good things that expiates these sins that you have done. You believing in God and repenting is such a good deed by itself that it removes the majority of your sins just because you've understood that God is your Lord. That showing that love and respect and honor to God, it gives you this good deed that gets doubled in front of your Lord. And these individuals that we keep trying to call to God, that they do not understand how amazing it is to be with God, they keep trying to deny the messenger and the people who are bringing the message. And how's it going to be when they're going to be confronted on the day of judgment and they realize that people like me, or people like the messengers, or people like other individuals on the internet has been telling you the truth, or people that have written books that you read that have been telling you the truth? When God is going to produce a witness from every community, and even in our communities in this day and age, you're going to see individuals that you recognized in your life that are going to be speaking against you or with you or for you. And the individuals that were going to go to hell or are going to hell due to their choices, they're going to really feel terrible that they were insulting these witnesses, these people that are going to be brought forth against them. And God tells us about a certain emotion that we need to understand. Have you ever been so shameful and so humiliated that you don't even want to be seen in that moment, that you'd rather disappear? That's how it's going to feel for these losers on the day of judgment. And God is warning us to not find ourselves in that position. Now, this next verse is something that's extremely amazing because, again, of the intricate nature of the Quran. These things that God has shown us in the Quran, where if you look at the language, which we've covered this in chapter 4 quite some time, that if you start to understand why God is using the words that he's using, you find a deeper image and you learn a lot more on how you become a better human being. Now, God is telling us to not approach the prayer while you're intoxicated because you do not know what you're saying. That can be translated to many other things. When somebody is sleepy, for example, he might be saying things that he doesn't know what he's saying because he's dozing off and he's sleeping. So you shouldn't be praying in those moments. If you're speaking in a language that you do not understand and you're using that to pray, you don't know what you're saying. Yet God is making it very clear for us that you have to know what you're saying. And God is telling us to not approach the prayer if we have orgasmed, if we have completed whatever happens during any form of sexual activity. And God also tells us that we need to wash if we had intercourse with women. Notice here, one is sexual orgasm and the other one is intercourse with women. Therefore, in the second later part, God did not talk about masturbation. He didn't say that if you masturbated or had intercourse with women. But the first one is about sexual orgasm. Now, us as a male, when I sleep, there are things that are considered as a wet dream where you wake up already committed or you already had a sexual orgasm, which at that point the verse applies. And if I have touched a woman, it's not necessary for me to actually reach my climax and to finish the task, but yet the verse of me having to clean is still there. But notice how both of them does not, it implicitly doesn't include masturbation. But yet, if you are going to go into masturbation and you think that it's something that is beneficial for you as a human being, and it's not a vice, which I believe it's the counter, because God states that we have to protect or guard or save our private parts except until our spouses or whoever has an oath with us. So I think it's something that we are supposed to be preserving. But here God is being extremely technical with his words, where it's the sexual orgasm, which can include situations where you did not touch women. And then the cleaning, the other parts or the time that you need to clean for the prayer, is when you had intercourse with women. And now God is giving us that exfoliation, and using things like stain to clean ourselves is a possibility, which we see that now in those people that do their beauty supplies to clean their skins in certain ways. They have certain methods, which is exfoliation, where they are peeling off their skin with small rocks and sand, and so that it cleans their body and it cleans their pores, but yet water is more efficient. Now, we've already spoken about the last verse in regards to how people want to deviate you off the religion of God. But the religion of God is so extremely amazing And the way that things are coming together in the Quran, to some individuals, it might feel like there's a lot of randomness, that the thoughts are scattered. But if you start to analyze why God is putting certain verses where they are, then you see that there's a beauty and there's a connection for you to understand the first verse and the following verse in a way that is amazing. So for example, here we had talked about not approaching the prayer while you're drunk, and and that you have to know what you have to say, and then you have to also now uh wash if you have orgasmed, and then these are some conditions that you have to also wash if there's no water for you to exfoliate. And all of a sudden now we're talking about the people of the book. Did you not see the people of the book who buy the misguidance and they want you to really get deluded? Now look at what we were just talking about earlier in regards to how masturbation is not going to make you in your best form. I'm not saying that it's a sin and that you're going to hell to masturbate, but this is something that you need to keep in control, and this is not something that you should be exercising as often as you want and whenever you want and enjoying yourselves and following those desires, because it can lead you into a lot of trouble. So this is where that verse can also start to get applied. But we can also understand that the prayer is something that's extremely important, and we have individuals that try to tell you that no, the prayer is about connecting dots or some other explanation that does not align with what God is telling us here in regards to you have to know what you're saying, you have to wash before the prayer, you have to stand, you have to prostrate, which has a very ritual form, especially when God is telling you the times that you have to pray. But then there are people who are given the book and they have bought error. They've truly found something that is incorrect and they want you to follow them as well. So you can see how there is a connection as long as you start to ponder upon the verses and the reason why God is saying what he's saying. Remember, your God is extremely wise and he's extremely magnificent and he's extremely smart. He's the smartest, he's the wisest, he's the most amazing. So the word choice and the reason why the Quran is being revealed that the way that it is, it's supposed to engage your intellect to a level for you to understand the most intellect, like the most highest in intelligence, which is your Lord. He knows you so well that the positions of the words and the positions of the verses is engineered for you to actually challenge yourself to be a better man, to be a better woman, in regards to understanding and comprehending what's being said and why it's being said. So the Quran is naturally training you to become more wise by reading how God is giving you the need to know language. Okay, so it's like almost a need to know basis on the information that you require, where there's nothing left out and there's nothing extra, like superfluous, where it's just filler words, or for you to just hear something temporarily where it has nothing to do with anything. It's so precise and it's so perfect, and it's the exact measurement of what you need as a human being for you to understand how to get closer with God. And with that said, I really hope you guys are enjoying these. All praise to God, the Lord of the world, and peace be upon you.